The vision here is we need to have a voice in Washington, but more importantly, the immediate need right now is a voice in the 50 states. We've got to be the counterbalance to $8 million a week from big telco.
Welcome to another episode of the Community Broadband Bits Podcast. And I guess I'm not in my studio. I'm here in Houston for Broadband Communities. And I'm first going to introduce our first guest, Bob Knight, with President and CEO of Harrison Edwards, because I feel like maybe you just spend a word about what's Broadband Communities, and is it a success this year?
We are having the best time. We've hit over 1,000 attendees for this year's conference. We were hoping to hit about 800, 850. I'm saying we, one of the conference co-chairs. The audience has been decayed for a number of years. This is the highest number of attendees since 2018, and I just think the agenda is so good this year. Like, you can't find a lull anywhere.
Yeah, no, I'm on several panels, and those have been amazing.
Hey, I've been on some of them with you.
That's right. So we also have Kim McKinley, who is the frequent star of a show called Connect This.
Oh, I'm here? Oh, sorry. Okay, we're here.
We don't have a video on you.
Oh, okay, so I can't dance. It doesn't work. I would like to say welcome. Thanks for having me, Chris. And it is very humid in Texas, is what I have to say. I had no idea how humid it is here. So, but it is good to be here.
You spent a lot of time in Vegas, I hear.
I have spent a lot of time in Vegas. But it is, I would agree with Bob and say this agenda has been very robust. Unfortunately, I have missed all the panels that you two were on, so apparently I've missed the best content, according to you two. That's
what I've said. And what do you do when you're not on Connect This?
On my spare time, I work. Let's move broadband forward, and I think that's what we're here to talk about today.
You work for a network founded by Sir Thomas More.
Basically, yes, basically.
Utopia is what we're getting to.
Yes. Okay. I got your reference. It's not funny.
No, it's nothing that my wife laughs at how, like, I do not mind that I am the only one who thinks that I'm funny. So I'm used to this.
Laughing at your own jokes really gets you a long way, Chris.
Kim, why are we talking today? Here we are. When people are listening to this, the announcement will have been made. Earth will have been shattered because of this announcement that's you're going to make tomorrow. But we got a preview for a show that I'll release later. What are we talking about tomorrow? Or what are you talking about while I'm on an airplane?
Well, tomorrow we're making an incredibly exciting announcement that has been in the works for quite a while with a few of us, is that we are going to announce that we have formed a advocacy organization called the American Association of Public Broadband, in words, AAPB. And we're really excited. We really want to be the voice for communities around the country of really giving them a seat at the table and helping them choose their own destiny, whatever that may be.
Wonderful. And then, Bob, you've been intimately involved in this. We didn't actually cover this right away, but Harrison Edwards, you're an advertising and social market promotion firm.
Public relations, marketing, social media, yeah.
Right, and communications, all kinds of stuff. And you do a lot of work with community broadband. So obviously you saw that this was something that was needed and something that you could help provide.
So actually, it's a little bit of a misnomer because I'm also a public official in town of Richfield, Connecticut, where I serve as an economic community development commissioner. And, one of the great frustrations that I was having as I was watching, the funding, whether it was CARES Act or the infrastructure bill unfold in real time, was that community broadband didn't have a voice in any of it. And our community is looking at an all-fiber network. What that model is going to look like, we're not there yet. But we know that we needed to have a voice. And looking at the way the funding was carved out, how it's been flowing, looking at lobbying efforts that are going on in D.C. and now that have sort of populated the 50 states, it was astonishing to me the amount of money that's probably going to go to waste, frankly, and just going back to the same old and not really advancing stuff. When you have $65 billion plus CARES Act plus funds at the state level, I mean, billions and billions and billions of dollars, and are we just moving the ball down the field a little bit? This is a Hail Mary. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, and communities really need to have a voice, a singular voice. And a few of us had been thinking about it. I talked to Kim about the idea. She had a similar idea. Talked to Heather Gold about it at Mears. She had sort of a similar idea. So a bunch of us sort of came together and pulled together a board, and we've been working very hard behind the scenes. So I'm not there in the Harrison Edwards role. I'm there in the Town of Richfield role. You have to be a public official to be on the board. Harrison Edwards will support as a vendor, but this is for public officials, by public officials, to advocate in a clear and singular voice.
And to educate. I think that's an important role in this, is because we want to educate. As I am from Utopia. I don't think we mentioned that at the beginning because we just anticipate everybody knows who I am. But
if they don't, they're doing something wrong. It's
exactly
their fault.
Well, we have a few. We have people like Bob who are just starting the process, to people like me who works at a mature network operator, to Highland, Illinois, to Kitsap PUD and Traverse City. That is all deploying networks. And I think we have a vast amount of experience, and we just want to bring that education to these other cities who are just starting the process or might be at some point in the deployment process, and they might just be lost, and they just need some place to ask questions or bounce ideas off of. Mm-hmm. And that's what we really want it to be. And I think it's an exciting opportunity because, at least for me, and I think for Bob as well, I get calls every day from communities around the country just wanting some kind of advice. And I think, yet again, that's kind of how this idea started, because you're like, I'm getting all these calls, but how many calls am I not getting?
Is that why you're not returning my calls every day?
I might have you blocked, Chris, so we don't want to talk about that.
Yeah, I'm getting calls, too, every day about why Kim is the way she is. But, it's okay. No, I mean, the reality is that there's so much confusion in the marketplace, right? If you're a muni official, you really don't know where to go with this. And so, we sort of assembled this dream team of board members here. So Angela Imming from City of Highland, Illinois, she is our board chair. And, we talk about how there aren't enough women in leadership roles. And here, National Advocacy and Education Organization, chair is a woman, vice chair Angela Bennick. You have to be named Angela, by the way, to be in a leadership role. She's the general manager of Kitsap Public Utility District in Washington State,
and is just a real powerful force for public broadband in Washington State.
Boy, she is a force. It's fantastic, to work with both of these women in this capacity. We know each other from industry stuff, but to really see them in action is phenomenal. Scott Menhart is the board treasurer from Traverse City Light and Power. They're deploying TCLP fiber. And Kim is board secretary, and I was just elected member at large, the largest member. Thank you, COVID.
So are there, if I'm a community out there and I'm like, I've had a municipal network for 20 years. Like, how do I learn more about it? Like, what do I do to support it, or to make sure that I'm on the board, or those sorts of things? Like, what do you do?
So, AmericanPublicBroadband.org is our website. You can also go to .com, just in case you're fancy. But you can learn how to sign up, what the dues are. We want to hear from members, putting together advocacy platforms, putting together committees, whether it's a policy committee or an advocacy committee or whatnot, education committee. The vision here is we need to have a voice in Washington, but more importantly, the immediate need right now is a voice in the 50 states. Because that's where the money's flowing. Policy is essentially baked right now. So now it flows to the states, whether it's the state broadband office or another entity. And, the state broadband offices, they're poaching from each other. NTIA is poaching talent, right? So there's a real need for educating these new officials that are coming in. So, we're open, to cities, towns, counties, state agencies, federal agencies, if you want to be part of AAPB. It's a really important conversation. We've got to be the counterbalance to $8 million a week from big telco.
No, I think you are absolutely correct, Bob, and that's the only time I will ever say that you're correct on this.
We should high five on that. That's just
excuse me. High five. No, I think you're absolutely correct, and I think it's that we're just out there to be the voice. And these communities, we want to help who want to join us. We want to help them to have a voice and help dictate where we go. This is, 5 people who are on the board today, but we want to grow it and hear where people want to go. We don't want to say these 5 people are the ones who are going to dictate where this organization goes. We want all the community and board members and future members to come in and say, okay, this is what is important to us today. We also want to be a voice for some of this legislation that is happening in states. Some states are removing the barriers to municipal broadband, and some are putting barriers to make municipal broadband harder. And I think that's the point, right? One of the biggest points is that I don't think municipal broadband necessarily works for every community across the country. But what I am saying is every community should have a choice if municipal broadband works for their community.
I have a list of the 5 that it doesn't work in.
Oh, you do?
The 5 communities, yeah.
Okay.
But I think Kim's point is really relevant, right? We're model agnostic. If you want to partner with a company like a Comcast, if that's going to work best for your community, absolutely. We'll help you with the resources. We'll help you understand what that looks like. If you want to build your own network, fine. We're model agnostic. If you want to be an open access network, great. We'll help you. If you're going to be a single ISP, you're going to partner with a new entrant like a Google Fiber, fantastic. It doesn't matter.
Who is going to be answering the phone then when you get 50 calls next week?
Well, Chris, I would like to say that we are our board member at large has a responsibility, and it's phone calls. That's what I have voted for.
So you don't have a staff at this point?
We do not have a staff at this point. This is very much, we're announcing it, we're exciting, and we're kind of building the momentum to continue to keep growing the organization. We're going to have a fast and rapid growth after we announce tomorrow, just from some early announcements and early kind of
You told someone else
previewing.
aside from just me?
No, they heard when I was just talking to you. That was it. Yeah, I would definitely not tell anybody but you. But we are seeing a lot of people. I think a lot of people have been waiting for an organization like this to pop up.
Yeah, well, I mean, Doug Dawson and I talked about this 8 or 9 years ago, and we just didn't have the energy or the capacity to try and get it going. I mean, this is something that has long been, I think, needed, but it's just, we needed someone that had the kind of vim and vigor that the two of you have, along with the other board members.
We do have vim and vigor. So Kim and I, during the pandemic, we approached the Fiber Broadband Association. We started the Public Officials Committee, which is actually technically a roundtable, but there's about 150 cities, towns, counties, and state agencies that are involved, and we have monthly meetings, rather. And that organization has been very, very supportive of the efforts. They're a big tent organization.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked to Gary Bolton about it, and he's extraordinarily supportive of AAPB, of the new organization.
Anything so he has to spend less time with you two.
Yeah, clearly. But he sees it, as we do, as an opportunity to really partner on some issues and to really, advance the industry and advance fiber forward. So we're really thrilled to have close working relationship with FBA, and we want to have close working collaborative relationships with a lot of the other industry groups, because there's a lot at stake, and it's our economy, it's our communities. We have to really move things forward.
Mm-hmm.
This is our future. We are doing this because broadband is infrastructure, and broadband is needed as we continue down this journey. I mean, we all learned this during the pandemic, that how crucial this is. And if we don't, like Bob said, spend this BEAD money correctly, where are we going to be? It goes back to, we just want to educate and be a voice so we can use this money that is coming out of Washington and all these different states in the most effective and efficient way.
I mean, I hate to say this, but it's almost too late for the BEAD money, right? We're going to be able to have some influence in the states and whatnot, but I think we need to be looking, what's the next farm bill going to look like? What's coming down the road? That's what we need to have our eye on as we grow.
Well, you talk about the states as well. I mean, what are the states doing, right? So some of the states will find that the BEAD money is not enough, and they'll need to do something. 100%.
Look, in my home state, Connecticut, the governor's been pretty aggressive about it. He's a former cable guy, so he actually really understands he wasn't knocking on doors and installing. Ned Lamont was an executive. He had a network, but he really gets this, and they've put a lot of money in the budget in Connecticut, where I am. other parts of the country, look, I mean, was it Missouri? They returned, the federal funds, for political reasons. So, I mean, let's get real here. This is a once in a generation investment, and it's certainly not a once in a generation problem or challenge. So we got to roll.
The thing that I felt really showed how much this is needed was when the Biden White House said, we want to solve the broadband problem, which is not just rural. It is a problem of higher prices. It is a problem of needing more competition. We want to spend money. We want to support community networks. And the next day, I think 5 trade associations showed up at the White House to talk with the White House about that. Right. Each of those trade associations had their own agenda. Some of them overlapped significantly with the agenda that we would have as focusing on municipal broadband. But there was no one there whose mission was to say, yes, you got it right, right?
Well, that's the biggest problem overall. The Biden administration actually got this thing right.
Well, it did in rhetoric, yes.
In rhetoric,
yeah.
At least in rhetoric. In terms of policy, I don't think anything's going to be perfect when you sort of cobble together a bill with multiple stakeholders. But it's the biggest opportunity that we've had, and it's potentially the biggest opportunity that we're going to lose.
Yes.
Money, and more money. And let's just figure out how we can deploy these networks in a great way with this money. And I think that's the key. The BEAD money is not the first amount of money we've seen in the past, and this is not going to be the last. I hope that doesn't shock anyone. But I think that we, as this organization has been started, is really, really just trying to help. It goes back to, and I keep saying it over and over, but just give a voice.
Now, ILSR, we're not public officials, so cannot be on the board, but there is a role for us as well as other vendors, right?
Yes, there is a role. We have 2 membership categories for vendors, and we want vendors at the table, right? Because we want them part of the organization as well, because vendors are an important part of this process, right? We can't build these networks without vendors. They don't let me in a factory building optics or equipment. They decided,
not anymore, they don't.
After that first network. So we do need vendors part of this discussion. And we welcome them. We want them. I think they are a crucial part of making all of this a success. I think there's so many crucial parts to this discussion. So I'm excited to see where this organization goes. And I think, Chris, you mentioned something of that we had the vigor to start this organization. I don't know if it's vigor or it's a tad bit of crazy in us. Maybe too much coffee.
I detect a little bit of that. So when I helped to launch Next Century Cities, I'll tell you, the question came earlier than I expected and was surprising. Can Canadian members join? They're part of America, man.
Okay, Chris, I used to like you. Those are one of the questions I had not thought of.
I hadn't either when we were doing that, yeah.
I think that will be a board discussion, and as the board secretary, I will take notes on that discussion when it happens.
Yeah.
One of my favorite people in the industry is Barry Walton from Corning. Resides in Canada. Which province is he? He's New Brunswick, I think?
Yeah, it's either Newfoundland or New Brunswick.
Newfoundland or New Brunswick, right?
He's out there in the east.
He's out in the far east. He's east of Maine. Yes. I think we need to allow Canadians in and people from all countries, right? They have the problem north of the border too.
Kim's making a face.
They have the same issue. What do you have against Canadians, Kim?
Kim had the right answer, which is the board will discuss it.
The board will discuss it. Well, the board is discussing it now. At least 2/5 of the board.
Do we have a quorum?
We don't have a quorum though, but it is the American Association of Public Broadband. And I think based on the exchange rate, since we are raising money right now, I'm just saying we should consider it, Kimberly.
It will be a board discussion, and as your board secretary, we will discuss it, and I will take notes. Is that fair?
The city of crypto from Bitcoinistan would like to join.
Oh, that is a good question. Do we take crypto as a form of payment?
However the website's set up, man. But Kim made a point earlier, and she's 100% correct. This has to be an organization of inclusivity. There's exclusivity on the board to keep the mission pure, which is you have to be a public official. But the vendor community, the nonprofit community. There is a special nonprofit rate that we have because a lot of nonprofits are in the, we don't, it's not just cities and towns that are building networks. There's nonprofits. There's advocacy groups. There's groups like ILSR. So we want to make sure that we're big tent with a real sharp focus in a very narrow area. We're going to stay in our lane, and we're going to work collaboratively with some of the other groups and make sure that our voice is heard, and we're going to help them and support each other. And I think that's sort of the biggest challenge for the industry in general, right? We have so many people. There's so many sales goals. Everyone's trying to cut each other down for $5 or whatever. And I think we have to reverse that trend too and just bring out the best in each other, because really if the cities and towns and counties are moving forward with this, everyone's going to win. All the vendor community is going to win. So let's just do it.
Well, I appreciate both of you taking a light tone with this interview, because as we've been discussing here, this is serious, right? I mean, these networks are actually life and death for people. They are life and death for communities. They are life and death for employers. These are very serious topics, and I mean, I'm glad that we can joke about it, but this is something that is sorely needed for people to be able to figure out how to move forward and to make sure that we have an organization that is representing these interests to bring the balance. And that's a word that I just feel like we need to use a lot. Is we're not looking to run anyone out of business. I say that as the whole movement. Your organization is not looking to run people out of business, but you are looking for a balance.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely correct. And I think that one of my I guess it's one of my brand standards is just because it's serious, it doesn't mean that it doesn't have to be fun. And we want to bring fun and being able to laugh about things in broadband, because I think that we've all been to conferences that you sit there and watch panelists, and it's like you're watching PBS over and over again. We want to bring character and bring include everybody. You can include me with my big red glasses, or Bob with his Hawaiian shirt on yesterday. We're being inclusive, but we do agree that this is a very serious issue, and building out America is going to be it's the cornerstone of where we're going. And
let me just say, I mean, I feel like your discussion, the video that you'll find on the website, which is AmericanPublicBroadband.org. There's the video up there, I think, gets at this and how serious this is and how successful public strategies have been. And so I'm excited to help amplify that message and work on that with you.
And I think it's important that we help with people in the attack. I was just reading a thing. That's why Mike made a face. We're getting attacked about something stupid that just came out, right? And we have to help communities who are getting wrongly attacked on some of these issues, because as big telco comes out, some of them don't like what Utopia Fiber and others are doing, and they're making false allegations and claims. So that's another thing that we're going to help of how to navigate some of those hurdles that might come up during this process of deploying these networks. Back to the publicist of the group.
Well, now I feel foolish, coming after that lofty comment, because I was going to say my favorite part of the video is that Scott Menhart flew out to New York so we can record our section, and I got him standing underneath a Yankee sign in my office to record his part. Big Detroit fan. But yes, I think it's important that when people come after Utopia, that we know how to respond.
Wonderful. Thank you both for taking time to share this the American Public Broadband with us, and the great work that you're doing both in your communities and then on this organization.
And Chris, we would like to thank you for having us on the podcast today.
Is this where I get my Oscar speech? Is this where it is, or is it somewhere else?
Oh, we've already started playing the music in the background.
Oh, okay.
And cue the pig's blood.
We have transcripts for this and other podcasts available at muninetworks.org/broadbandbits. Email us at podcast@muninetworks.org with your ideas for the show. Follow Chris on Twitter. His handle is @CommunityNets. Follow muninetworks.org stories on Twitter. The handle's @muninetworks. Subscribe to this and other podcasts from ILSR, including Building Local Power, Local Energy Rules, and the Composting for Community podcast. You can access them anywhere you get your podcasts. You can catch the latest important research from all of our initiatives if you subscribe to our monthly newsletter at ilsr.org. While you're there, please take a moment to donate. Your support in any amount keeps us going. Thank you to Arnie Huseby for the song Warm Duck Shuffle, licensed through Creative Commons. This was the Community Broadband Bits podcast. Thanks for listening.